been an incredibly tough week for the club with the sad news of Maddie Cusack's passing yesterday. Give us a sense of how much she was loved by everyone, including the staff and the players at this club.
Oh yeah, listen, first and foremost, obviously, everyone's thoughts are with Maddie's friends and family, and a lot of Maddie's friends work at this football club. Maddie's been, especially my time here, a big part of everything. Senior figure amongst the women's team and senior figure amongst the media team as well, so everyone would see it about all the time. So yeah, tough. Like I say, we need to make sure that everyone's okay at the club, and we all support each other, because it's sad news.
Will there be a club-led tribute to Maddie?
There'll be things, there's plans and discussions going off now. We want to be very respectful to Maddie's family as well, and make sure that they're heavily involved, understand exactly what we would like to do, because it's as much as we want to show our respect and thoughts and how we're feeling, we want to make sure that the family lead on that. Looking
ahead to Sunday, you come up against Newcastle. They've obviously come off the back of their Champions League trip to Milan. Is it a good time to take on Eddie Howe's men?
Yeah, we're just looking forward to it because it's a home game. It's a home game in front of the cameras. We've had another week's training, which is good for us, like I say. So obviously we're preparing for Newcastle. All his work's been on Newcastle. All his work's been on how they attack, how they defend. But we would just be ready and excited about whoever. It's another game for us. Like I said, another week. We've been working hard every day, every week, and we just want to keep improving. So it's a great game for us.
Every game you've had has been very close. Even at the weekend, you were minutes away from taking victory from Spurs. Despite that, there's speculation about your future. Does that disappoint you, that there is that question mark?
No. Listen, it's just like, no, it's not at all. You're asking the wrong person. It's like, you can ask me about a player. Is he going to play? What does he need to do? But you can't ask me about me. Do you know what I mean? You need to speak to other people about stuff like that.
Fantastic. Good luck for the weekend.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Paul, good afternoon. Has this been a very emotional 24 hours for everybody at the football club?
Yeah. Steve called me yesterday, and it knocked me back a bit. I'll admit it did. And as much as we are preparing for a huge game and wanting to get on with everything, it's affected a lot of people, and a lot of people in different ways. Like I said, Maddie's been close to so many people in this club, so there's a lot of people suffering and feeling it, without a doubt. But like I said, we'll look after each other here, but first and foremost, I'll say it again, we're thinking of Maddie's family, and we want to send them our best.
Have you had any contact from the head of officiating this week, given how unhappy you were with events at Tottenham last weekend?
Yeah, just come out with Howard and John Moss have both been in today, so it's been good. Yeah, I'm grateful that they've come in, and we've had discussions about it, about the game, about what I thought, about what they thought. And just how things probably unfolded. We've been discussing, and then obviously the biggest thing for me is how we take it forward. So I'm really grateful that they came in, and it was good.
A lot of those conversations get reported and get mentioned, and certainly Howard Webber's spoken to a lot of managers across the leagues. Do things actually change though? Do you actually see results from those conversations that you have when you actually express an opinion, when you have those talks? Does anything come from it?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, we know how we want to take it forward now, and listen, there's always two perspectives. There is. Do you know what I mean? There's two big things for me. Two big things, and this is why I won't change that approach. I have to defend us, and I have to make sure if I think there's something not right for us and we're not getting treated fairly, I have to stick up for us, and that was happening. And there's also the game, which we all agree on. We want things to be better. We want the ball in play more. We want to get rid of time. We want. Of course we do. I've got no issue with the time added on. I think people are making a big deal of that. I never once mentioned the time added on. My point is, add 30 minutes on if you want, but we play the 30 minutes how we want to play it. You know what I mean? And my big issue was about the goal kicks, and I've just shown them in there. So in the first half, we were averaging 18.25 seconds a goal kick. Man United were 2-0 down against Spurs and taking 20 seconds a goal kick, 18.25 seconds a goal kick. They were taking 20 seconds a goal kick. Brentford played them the week before and were taking 29 seconds a goal kick, and we were getting threatened with a booking. And that's what I can't have. And that's what the point I needed to get across. All the other issues, if they think there's time wasting, blah, 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 no problem. I think Cam got booked for time wasting. He caught the ball, didn't he? Robbo kicking the ball, book him, deal with it. But Wes cannot be. And we changed our approach, and how it was dealt with at half time. I'm not going to go into that, but that's the bit I want to be clear on. Because if I know something like that's happening, I need to be able to put our point across in game. And they're the discussions we've had, and that's what, like I said, that's what I'm grateful for that they've come in, and because we don't want that again. They don't want me saying what I said, and I don't want to have to say what I said. So we're on the same page with that. It's clear to see for me that something was wrong at that moment.
It feels as if there's a lot more bookings in games. That was not a game where typically you'd expect a lot of bookings, but there were a lot of bookings in the match. Do you think this is going to end up having a positive impact on the long term? Therefore, is it worth having the short term pain?
I don't know yet.
Or is it too much of is it an issue that there's actually it could ruin games?
Yeah, both. But we might have to go through the pain to get through it. Do you get what I mean? We need to see, but there's still got to be a consistency. And I get there's a perception. So us away at Spurs winning, the perception we're going to waste time, or us away at Spurs perception before the start that we're going to waste time. But you still need to know, is that happening or not? And if you're taking goal kicks quicker than Man U did and Brentford did, how can you keep it? We're getting threatened with the booking. That can't happen. And likewise, if you're 3-0 down, we may be taking longer than 18 seconds, but it's not an issue. It's just, so there's got to still be some consistency and parameters within which you work as a coach. Otherwise, how can you work? Because I was trying to get West to slow down in the first half because we weren't set up when we were playing. We needed to set up. We needed to take longer. And we need to affect that. We coach, we need to affect the game. So, yeah, there's certain issues. But, listen, let's see. Back to your point, let's see if these things do make an impact. I think there's certainly been less, because players are scared. There's been less things kicking the ball away. There's been less people taking time. Yeah, without a doubt. But then flip it the other side, there was an issue with the multi-ball in our game. And if you want to get the ball in play more, yeah, of course multi-ball, but then it needs to be the same for both teams, because as soon as we can't get the ball in 5 seconds and Spurs are set up, it's going to take us longer to get the ball in. So we've either got to have it the same for both teams or zero.
Wes Foderingham revealed after the game that he had suffered some racist abuse. How do we stop this happening in English football in 2023?
Listen, I don't know. You could say, listen, it's all social media. Everyone's tough on social media, aren't they? Say what they want. Get rid of that, but it's obviously in people for them to spill it out on social media. So you're not getting rid of it, getting rid of social media. So no, it's deeper than that. It's harder to get rid of. It's sad. I think we are the worst sport for it. Maybe the profile of it, I don't know, but we seem to be the ones that get the most. We've just got to continue. I think listen, there's been big improvements. We all know that. We all know that in society there has, in our game there has. So we just have to continue being harder and stronger. And I think every time we do manage to get a prosecution, let's make those punishments higher. That's tough. I knew I'd get asked about that, and it is a bit that when I'm speaking to you guys, I don't want to say what I really think about it. Do you know what I mean? And it's a real tough one to speak about, because I think it's something that reflects really bad on our sport, and it's not reflected bad. It's not Spurs. It's not a Spurs problem because it's directed at Wes. But how can a game of football make it all right for people to speak like that?
How's Wes sort of handled?
You spoke. We've gone through the correct channels, and we've had obviously the policing for him to speak to. Listen, and it's not right. It's probably sad, but whether I spoke to Wes, any of the boys, Rian I spoke to a couple of times. It's not the fact that they must. Yeah, I'm all right with it. As if like they know how to deal with it. That's probably how it shows how much of a problem it is.
You're minutes away from a fantastic result at Spurs. I think most people who've seen Sheffield United would agree that you've been very competitive this season and have had a good start, even though you've not won a game in the Premier League. So what is your reaction? What's going on in your head when it felt like minutes after that game's finished, there's a report saying that you're potentially going to get replaced by the former manager, Chris Wilder.
Yeah, I think, as I've just said, you speak to the wrong person about it.
What's your reaction, though? You must have
Zero.
had one.
No, listen. No, not at all, honestly. The amount of things that I see or get asked questions on that are rubbish or... Listen, there's no smoke without fire, I get that. But the amount of things that get into the media that are total rubbish, I get asked about them all the time. So am I worried about? No. If there were truth in it, am I worried about? No. Because does it affect... Well, it just doesn't affect me one little bit. And as I've just said to Io there, you're asking the wrong person about that. You asked me about the players. I think you need to ask board level about stuff like that. They're the only ones.
Did you talk to the board and
Yeah,
say what's going on here?
Yeah, I spoke with Steve. Yeah, Steve said, nonsense. Carry on. Just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. But it's always there as a manager. Just because there's a report goes out or gets asked a question about it, it's always out there. Always.
Do you think it's fair, though, because you've achieved a lot at this football club, and whether it's an unfair report or if there's something in it, and therefore this is something that you have to be mindful of?
What, you mean I'm unfair on me?
Yeah.
I'm not bothered about that. Really not. Is it an unfair part of the job? Yeah. But everyone has it. Everyone has it. It's not so it's not an issue. It's just it's honestly not an issue. It's just the way it is.
And do you feel you've got full backing from the powers that be at this football?
Yeah, but like I say, you're asking the wrong person.
In terms of injuries, how are you looking? Is John Egan back for this game?
Yeah, he was trained, so he came back in. Obviously, we're a day further on this week with having a Sunday game, so he came back in on Tuesday and joined in with the boys. Yeah, so he's had a full week.
And you've come close to getting results. How do you turn nearly getting a result into getting 3 points this division?
We just got to be better. I think it's a reflection on how tough it is. Whether like I say, we get back into the game against City and concede right at the end through an error, or we get in front against Everton and they peg us back in, and then Pickford makes that wonder save at the end. The margins are that fine, and we have to know that we've got to play for those margins and keep pushing and pushing. Because no one's going to give us a result. Spurs weren't going to think, it's not our day today and let us have the result. They're going to fight to the end, so will Newcastle. So yeah, I think it's an indication of where we are. It's an indication of the improvements we've already made, and that we can compete. But likewise, it just shows the level that we're at and how good we have to be. So we need to be better with the ball, without the ball, in our organisation, in our mentality, in our fitness, everything. But bit by bit, we will get there. And probably the biggest one for us, and this is the thing that's not been spoke about, but we know, we can see it in every game, is the players who are chasing the fitness with us. Maka and Jayden did unreal to get the minutes and the performances out of them that we got at the weekend. I think Jayden's last game might have been West Brom. He's not had a pre-season, not played any minutes pre-season, not been training. Maka not had any football minutes but been training, and we made the decision to put them in, and they did great, but then they blew up, so you're not seeing them at the best yet. The other boys coming on, it was great for Austin to get his first minutes, Tom to get his first minutes, but again, they need more and they'll only get fitter as well. So yeah, positives in terms of how we're working and what we're doing. Yes, I can't fault anyone, but it would be nice to. It would have been nice to see that game out last weekend, definitely.
And how much of an achievement is it to be as competitive as you have been, given the change that has taken place? You've had to introduce players. You've had players who are getting into fitness as well. To be as competitive as you have, what is that? What does that say about the group, I suppose?
Yeah, the mentality is good. How we work, how organised we are. The fact that it's hand you dealt, you get on with it. We that's how we work. That's what we want to be like. That's what our mentality needs to be like. And I don't expect us to be any different. I think the staff knew I thought we'd beat Spurs last week. I know I really did. In how we were going to set up, what we were going to do, and I come away disappointed in lots of things we did. And I've shared that with the players, but they know I've shared it. I felt I'm being too harsh. But no, we've got such a long way to go. If we want to get to the level, and listen, I understand it takes time, how long it will take, how much of an effort it is, but I believe in these players, and they know they're going to get pushed. So I think that's how we look to work, and the fact we've made changes. So what? I think longer term, if you look at the health of the squad now as well, and you look at the problems which would potentially have arrived 12 months' time, we've took care of a lot of that as well. Yeah. So yeah, we've done okay, but we want to win.
And finally, Newcastle as a test, how do they compare to the rest of the top teams in the Premier League, do you think?
Different to Spurs, different to City and how they're set up. Yeah, there's good physicality about them and an energy, and I think that's probably the standout quality I see in them. Certainly how they'll look to start the game against us. They'll not be afraid to then turn us as well if we do things right against the ball, and they'll try and impose their physicality and energy onto us, which is slightly different. And that's not to say they're not very good with the ball, which they are, but it's a different challenge for us. Yeah, a different one, and one that we're looking forward to.
Cheers, Paul. Thank you.
Cheers.
Hi, Paul. You're right.
Good.
Is this on? I don't know whether it is. I'll go anyway.
I can hear you. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So close, as you talked about last week. Just wonder what impact getting so close, being so near to a point, maybe 3, has had this week as you prepare for Newcastle. What impact has it had on the group this week and you?
Just showing that we need to be better, I think. I don't think there's any... If you're looking at where we were, Rob alludes to the fact, like, at the start of the season we were so light in numbers. We'd had a lot of upheaval before that Palace game. We wouldn't want to, and it's no disrespect to anyone, but I think everyone knows we wouldn't want to be putting that 11 out again. Then we made slight improvements for the next game, but we're limited on the bench, made improvements. So I think it's just a reflection that we've improved game on game and that we can compete no matter what. And there's an expectation from me and the staff and the players that's what we're here to do. We're here to compete, and we know we can win. So I think it's reinforced things more than anything else. Reinforced that we're here to compete, and also reinforce the fact that we need to be better if we want to win.
Outside of the group and outside of this club, expectations for yourselves at this level weren't high at the start of the season. Does that encourage a sort of siege mentality, to use the old cliche, and is that something you welcome?
Yeah, but we're not trying to foster that. We haven't gone down that road. No, we haven't. We've embraced the challenge and what it is. We've signed a lot of young players who are really excited about the Premier League, and they've come here to develop, and they know that's what we believe in. We want to improve people, want to improve players, and the challenge is doing it in the toughest league. So what if it's a step up? So what if it's harder than you've ever played in before? They're going to get the support as well. So no, I think we work to our own standards, our own expectations, because I think, to put a perspective on it, sometimes we might play our best game and it might not be good enough in this league. So that is a little bit different. But I'd also back us if we do play our perfect game to be a real handful for teams, and as the closer we can get to that, and then the more often we can play at that level, that's when we can become consistent at picking up points and winning games.
Might sound odd to suggest that Newcastle have shown some vulnerability away from home this season. It's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what have you seen in their away performances that might give you some optimism you can exploit any weaknesses?
I think, listen, they've got a good result away in Milan, and obviously Milan and their setup and the challenge of the Champions League is different to us. But we're approaching the game with the intention of creating chances, causing problems. I think from Newcastle's point of view, what I've seen, and I don't know if Eddie said this, and I've seen the majority of their games, I'd probably say, I might be simplifying this, but I'd probably say there's only the Brighton game what he's been unhappy with, generally, where he would have been disappointed with what he's seen. So I don't think they're much different to last season in personnel or style and how they want to play. So I think from that respect, we know what to expect. We know what type of team's going to be in front of us. You could have a guess at the personnel, the 11 he'll put out, but I think the structure of the team will be similar.
Flipping that round, you're at home. How valuable is that to you this season? How can you make that work for you?
Yeah, we want to. Listen, I think I said before the season, and it's not panned out, and it's my one frustration so far this season. This is our 4th game at home in the first 6. And we haven't felt like we've been in a position to capitalise on that, because we love playing at Bramall Lane. We love engaging with the fans and making sure the atmosphere is how we want it. We like to perform in a way that energises the crowd and then feed off that. Yeah, and we felt like we haven't been in a position to capitalise off that, but we're getting closer to that now. The window's closed, we know what we've got, and we've had a good week working this week to, and like I said, back to the first question, it's irrelevant really who's in front of it, it's about how we perform. We've set up to play against Newcastle, but I think the fact that we're at home again now and we've had another week working, we're excited about the game.